Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video update. It's been a minute, but I've been working away at my 1 million Gamerscore goal, and since this is end of year, I figured it would be a good time to provide an update. So let's look at some of the games I played lately, and then at the end, I'll show my progress and how much I have left before the ultimate goal. So let's jump into it. So last time I tried to start at the Xbox 360 dashboard, which I like to do just to kind of show the gamer score there and my avatar and everything. But I had some issues jumping back and forth between the one guide and then syncing the achievements from backwards compatible games. So today I'm just going to be on the Xbox One as I provide, just kind of a little rundown of the games I played. And then I'll probably put some gameplay here somewhere too, just trying some things out and see what works. So I know that just looking at achievements all day, it's maybe not as interesting, but I'll probably put some gameplay in here somewhere. But the first game I did play as part of kind of the Shocktober thing that I do, unfortunately I didn't get to play as many horror games this year, but I did get to play the Dark Pictures anthology House of Ashes. So that's the third game in the series. And I quite like playing these, and it's always fun to play. My wife's sitting right next to me, and then we're kind of looking at the different options. It is a choose your own adventure style game, and then you can, you can even play movie mode. I think it is too. You can pass the controller to someone else, and we've been kind of making a tradition out of that every October in a sense. So this is the third one, like I said. And I think this is probably the best one so far that I've played. Previously, I played Until Dawn and also The Quarry. And then this one was actually very good. So it takes place in Iraq, kind of the modern warfare era in a sense. And you come across these aliens or these vampires in a sense. I don't want to give away too much, obviously, if you haven't played this. But it is good dialogue, good action in this one, and it didn't feel like it overstayed its welcome like some of the other Dark Pictures game, I feel. But it was kind of the typical, if you played any of these games before, it's the typical achievement list, I would say too, where you have to play through it once, you get maybe half of the achievements, and then you can go through and do chapter select, and then you can do other playthroughs just to get different options, different dialogue options and choices that you make. So, of course, you have to have everyone live, and you have to have one person live, and then you kill everyone, right? Like, it's the stuff that you see in every one of these games. But it was good. I would recommend this one if you haven't played any of these. Obviously, start with Man of Medan. I would say there is some connection between them, of course, but this one was the best one so far, and we'll see. I guess next year we'll play The Devil in Me. So we have all of them. We have a pretty cool steelbook actually that holds all of the physical games for it too. But obviously this goes on sale pretty often. They have like a full pack of all four of them. And I'm pretty excited to see what the next anthology is going to be. There's another set of 4 games that are coming out pretty soon, I think. Like I said, the achievement list is pretty straightforward, but I would use a guide for most of this. You can do one playthrough just kind of enjoy the story. And then you can use a guide for the rest of it, because it's going to be pretty difficult to get all the achievements without a guide, without playing the game like 15 times, because you don't quite know exactly all of the different choices. Otherwise, it shouldn't be too bad though, but yeah, I would definitely recommend using a guide for this. And the next game that I played, and completed very recently actually, was Titanfall 2. I'm very excited to play this one. Can't say that I was a huge fan of the first Titanfall game. I'm generally not a fan of online-only games. I did play it. I did most of the achievements with another friend over Xbox. And yeah, I didn't really have a campaign. I had sort of like a campaign that still played like the multiplayer. But this one was very different. They didn't put too much emphasis on the online multiplayer in this game. So you only had like 3. I'm going to go down to the very bottom here. So it's just all you have to do here is just you have to win a multiplayer match, you have to join a player created multiplayer network, and then customize the multiplayer loadout. So super easy. I think you can even do this in a private match. So if you're like me, you don't really care that much about multiplayer achievements, you just want to get on with the single player, you can just do this first, get it out of the way. As you can see, I did this, a couple of months ago. So it's, it's super easy. And then when you get into the actual campaign, of course, they had to have as Infinity Ward's previous games, right? I know this is obviously a totally different developer, but in the end, you know, you can see the achievement. This is very similar to something like a older Modern Warfare with the training module, and then you have to beat a time at the beginning of it. But I would actually say that instead of, you know, breaking your back and trying to get this achievement right away, just play through the campaign and then get used to the controls, because the controls, even if you played Call of Duty and you do the wall running and everything, it is slightly different still, I feel, to where if you just play a regular shooter, then you're not going to get used to these controls right away. So if you have that difficult achievement that is sort of infamous for its difficulty, I can talk about that in a minute here. But then just jump into the campaign. Most of these achievements are very similar to what you would see in a Call of Duty game, I would say. A lot of story progression. Of course, you have collectibles and everything. And then the different types of Titan loadouts that you have to get a kill with, or you have to destroy another Titan or two. And there's some boss fights in this one too. And like I said, just a lot of story-related stuff, which I like. I think they did the achievements really well in this game, to where it didn't feel like you had to go out of your way to do something, but you still had to keep your eye out for those different things. Let me go to the top here. Like I said, there's nothing that really stands out here that I feel like I need to point out. And then if we go to the top, this is the one that really everyone talks about in this game. And, you know, if you've done any sort of time trial thing in the previous Call of Duty games, especially the Modern Warfare games, you had these ones at the very beginning of the game. But this one, I would say, it will still take you some tries and then watch some videos, obviously, to look at the best route to take and the weapons and everything. And I found that once I got like the shotgun and then just the grenades, the arc grenades, it made things so much easier. But there's still some wall running that you have to time well. And if you miss a shot, then it's very easy to just kind of get thrown off, and then you make a decision: should you start over, or should you just keep going? And then your rhythm is all thrown off, because it's all about speed in this one. So it's really not that bad, and I got this achievement on Christmas morning apparently, so that's kind of funny. I just worked on it in the afternoon, but I wouldn't say it took me more than 30-45 minutes maybe, just to kind of go through and get used to things again. But it's definitely not like a super long, very difficult, and as it says, you can get in the top 3, so you don't even have to beat the best score. But you know, credit to you if you can beat the top score, of course, but I think I got it under 33-40 or something like that, and that was just kind of course, when I got the achievement, it didn't pop for another 5 minutes afterwards, so I was very surprised. I didn't think that this Series X had this issue still, like the Xbox One did. As you can probably remember, if you played on Xbox One, there were constant delays with achievements popping. But for some reason, this game had a ton of that, and I don't know if it's just lingering from the Xbox One era, because this game came out in like 2016, I think. So it might have had some achievement issues to begin with. But they did pop eventually, as you saw here. I did get the 1,000 and all the achievements here, but this one, it wasn't as bad as I thought, and very enjoyable game too. I definitely recommend playing this one. And just in short, this is just a story about a boy and his robots. So no, just kidding. But it's kind of like if you play Call of Duty, especially Modern Warfare, mixed in with some Transformers. That's the best way I can just kind of sum up this game. And it is, like I said, a very enjoyable campaign, and it's kind of back to the good old days of a good first-person shooter campaign. And then, funny enough, the next game that I played recently, and this is a game that my wife and I have been working on for about 3 years right now, and we struggle to get into this. Like, we would play it for maybe a day or two, and then we would take like 9 months off the game. And it's like I like Borderlands in general. I think Borderlands 2 is like one of my favorite games from the 360 era. However, I was so excited about this game too, but it's been so difficult to get into Borderlands 3. And she, in the end, I think after the pre-sequel, she is not a fan of Borderlands anymore, so it's kind of funny. I don't blame her though. I think there's a lot of copy-paste, there's a lot of repetition. Writing kind of has gone a little bit downhill. But in general, like, Borderlands is a decent series, but I think maybe we rate this series a little bit higher than it really is. And then, yeah, we recently went back to this and we kind of plowed through the final section of the game. So we did manage to go through and finish the final mission and all the missions that led up to it. Because I think we struggled with the side missions a little bit. They just were not that interesting, and we just didn't quite get into the storyline. So yeah, like I said, it was a little bit difficult, but we just told ourselves recently, a couple weeks ago, we're just like, let's just plow through and get this done, so we can at least say we played through the campaign one time. So I will admit, like, as difficult as it was to get into it and kind of follow along towards the middle section and everything, it did get a little bit better towards the end. I'm not saying the ending was like mind-blowing and I'm so happy I got to the end of this game, but I think we changed our mind a little bit. It's not as bad as we initially thought. The gunplay is still really good. The classes that we played as, I think I played as the guy that has the I can't even remember his name. It's like the Irish guy, and that's how memorable this game is for me, apparently. But she had the mech robot girl, and she's badass though. Like, I mean, just it's like OP all the way. So every time she pulled out that special skill there, then we had nothing to worry about. So, but the weapons are cool. Did those achievements for the loyalty package, and once we finished all the weapons, then it was kind of smooth sailing from there, and but otherwise I think towards the end it was more enjoyable. So I'm gonna give this another try. Hopefully she'll be part of it with me, but we'll give it a try in like Vault Hunter mode, or I know there's a lot of different modes you can play. I think it's like Mayhem and everything. And from what I've heard from you guys, really, not so much people who watch these videos apparently, but I made a Borderlands short that got some reactions, and people said that give the DLC a try. It's actually much better than the main game, and so far, I mean, it seems okay. We started the Handsome Jack DLC, I think it was the. Again, can't remember the name of it, but it's like Handsome Jackpot or something. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think so far we are determined to at least continue, and I tend to want to complete my games. And Borderlands is a series that I've actually completed multiple stacks and multiple games. I think I just have Borderlands 3 and then the new Tales from the Borderlands left. Otherwise, I think I've done most of the other ones. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, but yeah, it was the typical Borderlands achievement list too, so I'm sure it'll be grinding, leveling up, tons of side missions that aren't great, and we'll just see how it goes. Then the next game that I played and finally finished the story on it, it's probably a bit of a surprise to me as well. I was trying to do this challenge on True Achievements, and if you do achievements, you probably know that website. And I started a little bit late on the Christmas challenge, but one game that came up from my backlog was Resident Evil 5 on Games for Windows Live. You might be able to see it in the top left corner that it has the Games for Windows Live logo at the top there. But yeah, I've been working through this one. I have played Resident Evil 5 and completed it on the 360. But this one was one that I just started because it doesn't have all the DLC achievements to worry about. And this was an enjoyable game. Enjoyable enough game, really, to play through again. I know a lot of people don't really like Resident Evil 5 as much as, 4. But this was my first Resident Evil game. So when I knew that it was a stack on Games for Windows Live as well, I like kind of playing the weird stacks of Games for Windows Live, or like a foreign variant, Japanese or PAL or whatever it is, German PAL. And then this one I just wanted to play through it just because I don't know when I started this. I want to check now when I started this. Must have been, did that say 2017? Yeah, that's a typical year that I started a lot of games for my bean dive, and I'm still recovering. It was probably one of the worst things I could have done. I typically don't like doing it, and then it was one year I just like, okay, I'm gonna try this bean dives thing. And I did way too many games, and since I'm a completionist, I really hated the fact that I did that, because it's almost 2025, and I have not been able to recover from it, and it sucks. So if you ever do that and you think about it, don't do it, because at least not do like 90 games like I did. It's not good for if you have any sort of OCD or anything, like you get sidetracked very easily. It's one that's going to bother you for a long time. But, I've been trying to work through them from time to time. And it looks like I just started this game on amateur. I was probably trying to go for like a speed run. And then I lost track of everything. And now I just played through it. But again, it's easy enough to do. And as you can see here, it only has 1,000 Gamerscore versus the 1,400 on the 360. So yeah, it's one that surprised me that I suddenly went back to. But maybe I'll just go and then just plow through it and get the rest of the achievements in this one to mop up some of the Games for Windows Live games that I've started. So not that many, but I still have many left I would like to play. Alright, so now that we've looked at the games and a breakdown and hopefully some gameplay, let's see the progress here. So last time I had this amount, and now let's see how much I have now. So yeah, still a little bit to go. So I'm at 998,410 Gamerscore at the moment. And hopefully I can fit in some more Xbox 360 games in there, or even games for Windows Live. They still count too as a 360 game, I would say. So let's see how this goes in a final stretch. Hopefully the next update will be the 1 million Gamerscore, and I will probably do a 2024 year in review and look at some of the games that I played and completed. And until next time, I hope you have a good one.